Hey guys, I got Damian Daley with DLF Attorneys here. Damian, how are you?
I'm good. How about yourself?
Pretty good, pretty good. Could you tell everyone a little bit about yourself and what you do?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me, of course. My name is Damian Daley. I am the founding and managing partner of DLF Attorneys. DLF Attorneys is a boutique personal injury firm located in South Florida. But we handle cases all throughout the state. So anything that relates to injury cases primarily. So car accidents, trucking accidents, motorcycle accidents, I'm sorry. Slip and falls, trip and falls, wrongful death, negligent security, medical malpractice, literally any situation that you can think of where someone is hurt
Mhm.
due to someone else's negligence. Yeah.
Got you. And before working with me, what challenges were you facing with social media?
Social media is a whole other beast. Um, I'm a lawyer, not an influencer, right? And so when you're getting into that social media space without the experience and without the proper guidance, you really have a hard time navigating it, right? For me, we like to separate personal from business, and that works in some contexts. In some contexts, it doesn't, right? So
Mhm.
it was difficult to um, get engagement, if you will, the same
Yeah,
way that I would, for example, on my personal page. All right. So like on my personal page, we'll post stuff and there's a lot of comments, a lot of likes, a lot of shares. And on the business page, you post stuff and it's crickets, right? So that was one of the biggest challenges is figuring out what type of content would resonate with followers and viewers on the business page the same way it does on the personal page.
got you. And what were some of the things that we worked on as far as like content?
Yeah, I think one of the initial um, points of focus when we engaged you was being able to tell an authentic story, right? Because I think you pointed out at the very outset that one of the reasons for the difference in engagement is obviously on my personal page, I'm being myself, right?
Hmm.
Then on the business page, it was either um, there wasn't enough content that told my story or focused on me. It was like a lot of static images. It was a lot of just generic content
Hmm.
that we created. It was informational, but there was no personality behind it. And one of the things that you do very well is help um, people and businesses sort of tell that story and bring out that personality of the individual business owners and folks who utilize your service. So I think that was the initial thing that we worked on.
Yeah, got you. And how was that experience overall?
It was great, seamless. I enjoyed working with you. I liked the fact that you were responsive. You were timely. I remember the first shoot we had. You were probably there maybe 30 minutes before, and I was like, man, somebody trained you well. Because that's rare in South Florida. We kind of chalk it up to us living in a place where there's a lot of island people and we're always on island time.
Mm.
But you certainly made sure that the initial impression was a lasting one. And I never forgot that. And that started the relationship off very well, right? Knowing that you took pride in being on time, you took pride in terms of preparation, and you took pride in terms of how you executed your project.
Got you. And if you have you worked with other videographers, and if so, what were the biggest things
So,
that you
so
noticed?
yeah, sorry for cutting you off. Yeah, I have not, and we have not, primarily because you don't know what you're going to get, right?
Mm.
And so, the way you'd come across content videographers typically would just be on social media. Like you can't walk down the street and see somebody that's a content videographer, right?
Yeah.
And most videographers that we know are old school guys. They're
Mm.
shooting weddings and they're shooting corporate meetings and things like that. And that's not quite what we needed.
Mm.
We found you just came across your content, frankly, on social media, and it was the quality was outstanding, um,
Yeah.
and just the editing was outstanding. And so, we had our initial meeting with you, and you were the first videographer that we worked with, and it was simply based on what work product you had already put out that we saw, and we saw how good that was, and we
Yeah.
wanted to give it a try.
what sort of results did you see or get from working with me?
So I think we started in April of
Mm,
this year.
yeah.
Um, and again, before we weren't really doing videos on our
Mm,
page. We just had a lot of static images, a lot of canned content that we would repackage. And so um, when we engaged with you, the idea was to start putting out more frequent reels, for
mm,
example, with videos of myself and possibly guests that we would interview on our podcast that we have. And so, and I looked at this yesterday, and there's a saying when you're a business owner, if you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. So we keep track of our KPIs, our key performance indicators. And one of those metrics is, for example, user engagement on our business page, follows, um, reach, for
mm,
example. So Instagram does a really good job for business owners of packaging this in a way where you can keep track of these things. So if you give me 1 second, I'll pull it up real quick just so I can give you actual hard numbers because this is important. Let's see. All right, so we started in April, and in April we had 2,000 views basically, which was a almost 2,000% increase from the month before when we weren't doing
mm.
reels with you. So this is the
Yeah,
start of the content, right? So it's 2,000%
yeah.
increase in terms of views. There was 1,000% increase in terms of views from non-followers. So these are people who don't follow my page at all,
Yeah,
right? So I mean, these are huge numbers. 1,000% is a huge jump. And then we got 7 followers, right,
yeah.
between March and April. So that was April. May, we have 5,000 views from Reels, which is
Mm,
doubling what we did the month before. Then we got 45% views from non-followers, right? So
mm.
folks who don't follow our page, that was almost 150% increase from the month before. And then we had 19 followers that were new to the page. So that was 2 months in, right?
Yeah,
3 months in, which is June, we now have 12,000 views from Reels, which remember the initial when we first started this, we had 2,000.
yeah, yeah,
So 2 months in, we're now up 6x in
yeah.
terms of how many people are viewing our content. And that's almost 200% from the month before. We have a big jump in terms of non-followers in May. So we're up almost 300% from the month before. So, I mean, if you're a numbers person, you're sitting here like, wow, we,
Yeah.
and it's crazy because it gets better, right? So that's May. No, that's June. I'm sorry. This is last month. This is July. So July, we have 22,000 views from Reels, which is
Mm,
a 80% jump from June. And again, this is 20,000 more views from April. So this
yeah,
is like 10 times the number of views in a matter of 3 months, right?
yeah.
We have 73% um, views from non-followers. So the views from people who don't follow my page has steadily increased, right? We're now at 70 something percent, right? And then followers also increased. We have 1,200 followers, new followers from June to July, which
Yeah.
which is we had 7 in April, we
Yeah.
got 1,200 in June, and August isn't done yet, but I mean we're probably on track to beat all those numbers that I just
Yeah.
gave you. So the results are in the numbers, right?
Mm.
And even if I didn't have the numbers, I can just look and tell you there's just been a lot more traffic on the page, a lot more engagement on the page. I think for the very first time, we actually had some inquiries from
Okay, that's
potential
what I was gonna
clients.
ask. Like, have you noticed a change in
Yeah,
like, leads for your business? Yeah.
100%, 100%. We've been doing the social media thing since about 2022, I'd say. And this is the first time that we've had anybody, and it was a couple people actually direct message us
Mm.
through the page inquiring about a potential case, which that's
Gotcha.
the whole point
Yeah. Yeah.
of social media engagement is to tell your story, spread your message, direct traffic to your page, ultimately get new clients. So it's working, and we're only 4 months in,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. And the more that
We're
you do, the
4 months
more
in,
results that you see.
right? And we're just getting started. So I'm
Yeah.
excited. I'm
Yeah.
excited.
Cool. Last question, man. If there was anyone on the fence of working with me, what would you tell them?
I just gave you the numbers. If your IG page is static, if your content is stale, If you see other people putting things out that, the quality is great, the editing is awesome, and you have no idea what to do next or feel like you can't compete with it, give Iron a shot, man.
Mhm.
It's the proof is in the numbers. You're put out an awesome product, great to work with, prompt in terms of the turnaround time. We'll
Mm.
shoot and we'll have the content ready to go within a short period of time, right?
Yeah.
So you can't lose, is what I would say. You can't lose.
Boom. Perfect, man. Thank you, Damien, for taking the time to talk to me today.
Sure.